Hello, welcome back. This is Miniature Mike. I'm going to continue the series for doing Sculpt tier lists on sets. And if you haven't checked it out already, I released The Force Unleashed, which is one of my favorite sets of all time. But following Force Unleashed is Legacy of the Force, which is another pretty great set. So let's jump right on into it and let's see what we got here. So first off is Nomi Sunrider. I actually rather like this sculpt. I like the pose. I think the paint job, I think it's fine. It's good. But I especially just kind of like the pose of kind of what she's doing. It's just a sculpt that in general I find interesting. I kind of like. We'll see though where it comes from there. The Old Republic Scout, I believe this is the Scout. It's not my favorite. It's fine. Just kind of more generic pose a little bit, I suppose. So not my favorite. I'm gonna put this one down here as well, both in C tier. Darth Cadus, I think this one's also A tier. I think the reason I like this sculpt quite a bit and the way he looks is because they do a good job with like the details and armor. It kind of has that, almost like crabby Yuuzhan Vong armor feel to it. So I think that looks good. It would be fun if he was doing like a better pose or something more interesting than just kind of standing still. But I think it's still pretty solid. So maybe I'll bump it back up to A. We'll see. I'll do bottom A tier right here. Darth Krayt. Oh boy. I personally really like this sculpt. Not sure what the consensus is in the community. I think they do a great job kind of like getting the way his armor looks. His head looks pretty decent even for all the different details it's supposed to have. I do like the kind of the position of his arms and so forth, but one of my favorite sculpts, honestly. I've always been a huge fan of Darth Krayt and what he looks like and how he plays too. So Darth Nil, I think, looks pretty nice. I'm just going to bump this down here. I think it looks pretty dang good. They do a good job capturing just kind of his overall look. His armor, kind of almost his like ghastly appearance. I think it's a pretty dang good sculpt, so I'm going to bump it up there to top of A tier. Darth Talon, I think that's pretty dang good looking. I think they definitely capture what Darth Talon looks like really well. I think it's a more interesting dynamic pose. Maybe S tier, but I'll definitely put top of A tier. A very good sculpt. Lumia the Dark Lady, definitely they do get what she looks like correct. Let's see here, the cape's good. It's just very silver. That's what she looks like. She's cyborg. I think for me though, I'm just gonna put her in B tier. I think it's a solid looking sculpt, but it's not one of the ones that I really like or just jumps out to me in particular. Let's see, the Republic Commando Officer, a very solid sculpt. Definitely has that kind of like Mandalorian armor to him. Looks good. Just overall, just kind of more just generic-ish to me. I don't dislike it. I do like that armor scheme. Looks cool, but it's just kind of more vanilla. Darth Tyrannus, Legacy of the Dark Side, or Legacy of the Force. I don't remember which one. Let's see. What do I like? It's okay. It's not my favorite Count Dooku. My favorite Count Dooku sculpt is Clone Strike still, and then Sereno's not bad. Tyrannus is okay. I think this one's fine as well. This one, I feel like has never been my favorite sculpt for Dooku. I'm going to put him comfortably in B tier, though. I think... Yeah, I don't know. Something about his sculpt isn't quite right with me. It's not bad. I think I'm going to put it in B tier. It's very solid overall. Bothan Noble, I do think this is a solid-looking one, so another B tier addition. I always like the way they look. I think they capture the Bothans look really good. They kind of look like, space, space horses, sort of, horse heads-ish, but mixed with something else. They do get that texture good, and they get the detail done very well. I might even put this a little bit higher. I think I do like, overall, I think with the way Bothan Noble looks pretty solid. Dina Shan, I'm not really a big fan of this sculpt. I'm going to put it bottom of D tier. I don't hate it. It's just another one of those like fully extended arm, gun out poses. Not a fan of it. Pretty generic colors, just black. I am actually not versed in what Dina Shan is from. I think, is she from the it's not Splinter of the Mind's Eye. What is that? I don't know. She's from some part of like a Star Wars expanding universe that I really haven't explored at all. So I don't really know who she is, to be honest with you. One of the few characters. I feel like I know a fair amount of extended universe, but I actually don't really know much about Dina Shan. So I'll put her down there. The Elite Rebel Commando. This guy looks pretty rad. I'm going to put him in A tier. The reason I really like him is I do like how he has two guns, one arm cocked up, so it's not just kind of a generic arm extended pose, and he has really nice getup. Good detail. I like the different colors. I like the bright blue pants mixed with the orange. boots, and all the gear. Looks really great to me. I'm a fan of the way he looks, of course. General Dodonna, definitely they capture him pretty good from the movies here. Let's see. I think he's a solid sculpt. I'm going to put him bottom of B tier. Looks good. Almost has that, maybe it's just this particular mini is kind of leaning forward a little bit too much, but he looks good. Just kind of captures what General Dodonna looks pretty well. You know, he's got the right getup, so I'll put him higher in B tier. Definitely, I think he looks pretty solid. I might drop her down. Her head just doesn't look quite right in this mini, but we'll see. I'll put him mid B tier. I think he looks pretty solid. Pretty good for what he should be looking like. Let's see the Honor Guard. These guys are fine. Whatever. They're just. I'm gonna put these down in C tier. I don't really care for the way these guys look. He's just kind of standing straight up, long spear. Okay, I don't know. I know that's what the character is, but I'm not a fan of the Honor Guards. Luke Skywalker, Legacy of the Light Side. I think this is Legacy of the Light Side. It's not Legacy of the Force. That's a different one. Part of me likes this pose because it's just like really dynamic. He's lunging forward to do a slash, but I don't know. What do I think about it? It's not my favorite Luke Skywalker either, but I think it's solid. Is it A tier? It's pretty good. It's solid detail on him overall. He has that kind of that specific outfit that Dina Shan has. Same kind of armor. I think it's a pretty solid one. I'm just trying to think what's holding it back for me. I think I'll put it low A tier. I do like it, but personally it's not one of my favorites. But I think now that I kind of just take a good look at it, it's a pretty solid one. So I'll put it low A tier. Twi'lek Spy or Scout, I don't remember which one. I think it's the Scout. It's alright. It's kind of a more chunky mini because of the way the cape goes around him. So I'll put him to top of C tier. Emperor Rowan Fell. This guy is an interesting looking figure. So he's got purple going on. He's got the kind of the Imperial Knight lightsaber. You can see his hair detail. Always the white stripe. It's not my favorite one though. I'll put him a high B tier. Yeah, it's just kind of like I don't know. He's just kind of like leaning forward almost. Just kind of lightsaber down. I think they got the detail actually on him pretty solid. So for that, I think I'll put him high. I just would like a little bit more interesting pose, but maybe that's kind of what it's all about. So I don't know. What do I think about his sculpt? But I also kind of like it at the same time. I'm curious how many people are gonna. I'll put him top of B tier, and we'll see where he goes from there. All right, so Imperial Knight sculpts. I really like both of these. I'm not sure which one I like more though. I'm gonna put both of them in A tier. I love the way these guys look. They look so cool. They're probably my favorite looking. Some of my more favorite looking characters of the set that are non-unique. So definitely been a fan of both Imperial Knights. Great looking detail on them. Really well done. So good job there. Do I want to go higher though? I don't know. Maybe I will. We'll see. Next one down here, we got the security officer. No, this is the ISB. Yep. It's fine. I'll just put it down in, just down in C tier. I don't think it's good. It's just kind of whatever. So I'll stick it down here. It's just an Imperial ISB agent. It's kind of what it looks like. Jagged Fell. I'm not really a big fan of the way this guy looks. I'm gonna put him down here. I know his arm is a little more. Is it more? I guess a less super rigid pose with outstretched limbs, but it's just not a sculpt that I'm a big fan of, so I'm going to stick this guy down in C tier. I don't hate it, at least I don't think so I'll put him down there for now. Messiah Fell, so they do get the hair really done really well for her. Overall good detail, just in general. Do I like this sculpt as much as... I think it's a pretty solid one overall. Definitely they do a pretty good job. I'll probably put just above Rowan Fell, top of B tier, maybe a little higher, but I think it's a pretty good sculpt overall. Imperial Pilot. Ooh, let's see what I put this guy. A fine sculpt. It's just kind of a funny pose to have the pilot just kind of arm in the air, just kind of like he's swearing an oath or something. It's again one of those poses that it's just I'll just put down in C tier. I don't care for it. Moff Morlish Veed. I think that face detail. I mean, the face detail on all these minis is hard to get right, so I can't really knock it too much for that. But overall, it's just not a sculpt that I'm super excited about. I like it more than these two guys for sure. Dina Shan and Jagged Fell. I'll put them top of C tier. Not a sculpt that I'm super excited by, but I'll stick them down there. Moth Nina, and I don't know how to pronounce her name. Eklixt is something. I've never known how to pronounce her name correctly, probably because I only have ever read her name, but I think it's a little bit better sculpt, a little bit more interesting, kind of conniving pose almost. I'll put it in B tier right there. Yeah. Nogri Assassin. These guys look really great. I think these look better than the original Nogri. They do got great detail on the skin around. I like the knives coming out of the wrists. Definitely, in my opinion, I'm going to put it low-key A tier. I think these guys look really, really nice. Like, really cool. Really good looking. Awesome detail. And just good pose to go along with the detail as well and paint job. Let's see, the Imperial Shadow Trooper. I do like the way these guys look. It is kind of more of a basic pose, just kind of, feet, more than shoulder width apart. The armor looks great. It's all black. I like how they kind of remind me of the Death Troopers. They kind of are the, extended universe version of Death Troopers, I think. I think these guys look pretty slick. I'm also going to probably stick these guys in A tier. So I'm going to probably bump this one down to B tier, I think, for now. But I think even though it's all black, if you can make it look slick, then it's pretty cool. I'm a fan of it. Is anything else going to bump up here? We'll see. We'll see which one of these really kind of jump out to me. Security Officer, Corellian. These guys look pretty solid. I do like the dynamic pose, kind of looking around, almost has that like Han Solo feel to him. Paint's job is fine, decent colors. Really, mostly I just kind of like the dynamic pose going on here. I think it looks great. But other than that, I don't like it too much, but it's pretty solid. I'll put them kind of above these two characters here. Let's see, I'll put these together as one. The Galactic Alliance characters. I've never been a big fan of the way the Galactic Alliance characters look. I think it's okay. It's interesting that it's different than the New Republic troopers, but I'm gonna just stick these guys down in C tier. Just not a big fan of what they look like. They remind me of Syndrome's goons from The Incredibles. Like, they totally do. Like, these guys, if you go watch The Incredibles right now and you watch kind of like the outfit all of his like troops wear, they totally look like Galactic Alliance scouts and Galactic Alliance troopers. So like, I don't know if someone watched that and they got that inspiration, but that's the first thing I think of. So it's kind of a funny thing. So if you don't see it, then it's just me. But yeah, take a look. Let's see here. What's next? Let's see what's next. Actually, I'm gonna look that up. All right, Syndrome's guards. Yeah, these guys totally look like Galactic Alliance troopers. I mean, I like at least the scout. Like, they have the exact same visor, gray, and then it's just kind of the translucent, or like the dark color there. Yeah, those guys. Yeah, at least the scout does. Yeah, these guys totally look like the Galactic Alliance. That's funny. Anyway, moving on. Han Solo. This is not my favorite Han Solo sculpt. Like, it definitely looks like a Han Solo. I think his arm is kind of cocked a little bit too much like this, like armpit closed. Looks a little weird, and maybe the detail's not as good as it could be. So for that, I'm gonna put up more low B tier. I think it's still a good sculpt. It's okay. Like, it captures Han pretty well. I do think that, they add a little bit of gray there to make it look like he's a little older, but it's not. There's better Han Solo sculpts. There just are way better Han Solo sculpts. So I'll put a bottom of B tier. Kyle Katarn. Let's see. What do I think about this one? Kyle Katarn. Better than the other one, I think. But the other one was pretty good too. I think with this Kyle Katarn, the hard part is I don't think they really ever get his face right. I don't think his head looks right at all for Kyle Katarn. I guess the way I envision him in the games for some reason. I look at him in the games and I look at his face here and I'm just like, whoa. I don't see that. Whereas with some of these other characters, I can tell, it's a small head, hard to have the detail, but I can clearly see, like, oh yeah, that's Count Dooku, this is totally General Dodonna, but when I look at this head, it just is not Kyle Katarn to me, and for that, it bothers me, because I think the rest of the body looks pretty good. It's otherwise, I think it's a pretty solid looking sculpt, but I've always been bothered by the face of these Kyle Katarns, because they don't quite get that, but I know it's a tall ask, it is. So I'll put a top of C tier. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty solid looking. It's just that for me, these faces have always taken away from these two sculpts. Let's see, the Ghost Luke, pretty cool. They get the translucent thing going on there. I don't know how to judge this one because there's not a whole lot to judge. It just looks Looks like a cool ghost figure. I know the Obi one, I really like the look of that one because it has that more reddish color to it. I think this might be my least favorite of the ghosts just because it is straight translucent, so I might stick it down here just in C tier, but not too low. Let's just put it up there. Let's see, Mara Jade, pretty good looking one. The other is much better in my opinion, but this one's solid. You know, got that straight purple cape or lavender kind of cape, goes with the lightsaber. Still decent looking, just kind of details across the board, but I still don't think it's all that great. I'm gonna kind of put it with, I think maybe these two are kind of similar in some ways. Like, I wish there was better detail. For some reason, there's something off about them that I don't love, but they're not bad either, so I'll put them in there. Shadow Vow. So here's I don't know what I think about this guy. I've never been a big fan. Like, I think the sculpt is going for something to make it look really cool and dynamic, but I've always just kind of have a hard time with this because it looks like his ACL just got completely ripped 90 degrees, and so I've always had a hard time. Every time I look at this particular sculpt, it's like, oh, that just doesn't look right. It's one of those cases where the person's limbs aren't, to me, don't look like they're in the right spot. So I want to like Shadow Vow's sculpt. I don't think it's a D tier sculpt. In fact, I might just drop these two down to D tier right now. I'm just not a fan of them. I'm gonna put them in C tier. I think if they'd done something a little different, I think it would have been a lot better. But for me, every time I look at the sculpt, I'm like, that just looks weird. He just looks weird to me. Like, that leg looks, I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but I'm not a fan of it. Wolf Sazin looks good. It's cool that he's missing his arm, but it's a solid sculpt. A little bit of a weird kind of a motion with his lightsaber, I guess, but I'll put it bottom of B tier. Kate Skywalker, I do like the way this guy looks. He is one of those exceptions. He does have his arm fully extended, shooting a gun, but for some reason, I think he pulls it off really well. It looks like he's just, I think he almost reminds me of just like Tiberzan from Empire at War with his enormous, just like, you know, splash damage gun and just gonna blow somebody away. I do think he captures it good, so I'm gonna put him up in A tier the way he looks. Looks good. I am a fan of the way Kate Skywalker looks. Delia Blue, I like the way Delia Blue looks. I think they did awesome work on the detail here at Delia Blue. The only thing, again, I don't think she pulls off the extended arm with the gun thing. Like most of the time, I don't like it. However, I'm gonna put her bottom of A tier just because I think they do a fantastic job on the rest of her, like detail, paint job, with the way they kind of get her look right. So looks great. Maybe they could have done a little bit something different with the right arm, but Kate Skywalker kind of pulls that off better. See the Doug, pretty cool looking. I think they definitely capture like the Sebulba look pretty well. It's a really small mini, so nothing too crazy. So I'll stick them kind of down on B tier. Okay, I'm not a fan of this Princess Leia at all. It might be accurate to what she looks like in some stuff, but for some reason it's just like, I don't know what it is. I've never been a fan of the way, like, to me it almost looks like you gave Princess Leia from episode 4 a lightsaber, you know, minus the, cinnamon rolls on the sides. And it's like, for some reason it just doesn't work for me. I don't know. I guess it's just not, it's just the pose, the detail as well, it just doesn't work for me. It's one of my least favorite looking minis from this set personally. You know, it's kind of unfortunate, but it's just, I've never been a fan of this Princess Leia, so that's just me. Duros looks kind of cool, not bad. Good looking, you know, the contrast is nice between, black pants, the green head, and the lighter color jacket. So I'll stick it kind of somewhere around here in C tier. It's fine, you know, fine looking. The Gauntlet Mercenary, I do like a little more, but I'll put a little bit higher. And then Guard Droid is, I'm actually not familiar with what the Guard Droids are from in lore. This might be the set of characters I know the least, to be honest with you. Still several I know pretty good, but I'm going to have to probably put this one down here in C tier. I've always thought the Guard Droid was a little weird. Not my favorite looking droid. Not bad, but just not my favorite looking droid. I tend to like droids, but not this one. Human Bodyguard. Definitely not a B tier. Probably some downward down in C tier again. I'll just kind of stick this one. It's fine. Definitely a little more interesting looking pose with this guy, the Corellian Pirate. I do like the way he looks. It's a cool looking, almost a sneaking around pose. A good looking pose. I think the paint job looks pretty nice for a non-unique character, to be honest with you. I might even put this bottom of B tier. Looks kind of good. Yeah, looks solid. Solid to me. Put it right there. Human Scout. Not a fan of this pose. It's just kind of bland to me. Another bland-looking character. Jeez, I don't know if it's just me, but am I being too harsh to Legacy of the Forest? I swear some of the earlier sets didn't have so many people in B tier, C tier. I thought I had a lot more like B and A tier characters, but like for Legacy of the Forest, there are like I really like the minis and how they play in this. Like there's some really great like minis, and their cards and stuff. But for some reason, like I'm finding that I'm not quite as excited about a lot of the sculpts for some reason. That's just me. So, all right, Jurison, he's fine. He has the arm outstretched thing again, but he actually pulls it off better. I'll definitely put him in B tier. I do think he looks pretty cool. Keldor Bounty Hunter, I like the way these guys look as well. I'll put him also in B tier as well. I like the pose. They do a pretty good job getting that complicated face correct, in my opinion. So looks pretty good. I'll put him maybe just one below the Carillion. I like this guy just a hair more. Rodian, great detail on this Rodian. I think he looks really nice. Where should I put him though? Yeah, some of these non-unique characters, they look pretty good. So I'm kind of impressed with it. So I really like the texture on this character's mold for sure. He looks really, really nicely textured. Pretty decent pose as well. I'm impressed. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, Boba Fett, Mercenary Commander. I think this guy looks sick. He's one of my favorite looking Boba Fetts. It looks like he's, like dodging blaster fire and pulling his gun out to shoot at the same time. Definitely for me. Boba Fett tends to be an S tier looking character in my opinion. I'm a big fan of the way this one looks. Trandoshan Mercenary. I like the other Trandoshan Mercenary from Alliance and Empire more than this one. I'm not a fan of this one, just the boring yellow getup. And I think the way he's holding his gun is a little weird with that left arm. I'm sorry, this one's always been kind of a dud to me. I'll kind of put it down here. So not my thing. So Candor Sordo, pretty good looking mini. I'll put him top of B tier. Looks pretty good. Big gun, just kind of a very stationary pose. Looks okay. I definitely like him. Overall, done a good job. Top of B tier. I'm going to put the Gunslinger up in S tier. I think this is the best looking mini from this set. I just think, the colors just pop so well. And it just kind of has that, like, perfect Mandalorian getup. And then looks really great. So, great looking mini. Probably my favorite looking from this set. Yeah, it's my favorite looking from this set. So, I'm a fan of these three for sure. Let's see. What do we have left? I think this is Mandalorian Soldier. I think so. I'm not a huge fan of the way this guy looks, just kind of like the really weird like arm things going on there. I prefer it to look a little less robotic when it's not supposed to be a droid. So for me, I'm going to put these guys in C tier, not a big fan. I think they still look kind of cool. The Mandalorian Crusader outfit looks cool, but and they do a solid job with the detail. I'm not a fan of the pose. Next we get some Yusing Vong. So here's a warrior. These guys I think look probably a lot better than the Universe ones. The Universe ones don't really look all that great to me, so I'll stick this one in B tier. I do really like the Priest. I think it looks pretty good. Or is this... Oh, am I getting this mixed up? This is the Jedi Hunter. So the Jedi Hunter looks pretty nice for Yusong Vong. I'll put him in mid B tier. The Warrior, I think the Warrior looks much better than the other Warrior, although still a little weird looking. I think they get... The cool thing about them, they get kind of the spikes coming out. The texture looks pretty good. So definitely, I think I like this one just a little bit more. I think the Elite Warrior I like a little bit more for some reason. I think the head is less distracting. So I'll bump it up just a few spots. But solid looking on the Yusong Vong. And the Shaper is fine. I'll put it like down in C tier. It's not my favorite looking overall. So, okay, let's take a look at this. Definitely these ones are supposed to be down here. C tier looks good. I think B tier looks fine to me. And then S tier, I'm going to bump Darth Talon up to S tier. I think this sculpt looks really, really good for Darth Talon. And is also another dynamic pose. I'm very interested in that. So, okay, there's my S tiers. Definitely Gunslinger. I really like the way Darth Krayt looks. Probably a hot take. I could understand if he's not other people's favorite. And then, like I said, Darth Talon and Boba Fett. So, anyways, there you go. There is Legacy of the Force ranked. Definitely a big fan of these minis. I was hoping to put more of them higher, but this is kind of how I feel right now. So, anyways, if you enjoyed, please like, please subscribe. Definitely put your comments down below. I want to hear what minis you like, which sculpts to really jump out to you in here, which ones are your favorite, which ones are your least favorite, and we'll leave it there. Anyways, until next time, have a good one.